get dressed up just to be your clown. You got girls that sing and dance. I hear one's an acrobat. You got them swinging from the chandelier. Well, honey, I don't swing like that. The main attraction's leaving. Let the sideshow pay the rent. Take this diamond back and you'll be 2 rings shy of the big top 10. I ain't gonna get dressed up just to be a clown. Ain't gonna paint this pretty face like you paint the town. I ain't wasting good mascara just to watch it running down. I ain't gonna get dressed up just to be your clown. Just to be your clown. Tiptoe cross the tightrope till you turn me upside down. Cut the cable, pull the net, just to let me hit the ground. I ain't gonna get dressed up just to be your clown.
Than 1,000 hearts can count for you. More smiles than a merry-go-round. The sweetest ending to a bedtime story told. My love follows you where you go. More laughter than a kindergarten out to play. One Sunday morning song that says it all. More summer than the California beach can hold. My love follows you where you go. Future like a promise. You're a city of gold. Stubborn in your bones and Jesus in your soul. Seeing you stand there, staring at the unknown. I won't pretend that it's not killing me, watching you walk away slow. Take forgiveness, take a prayer, take the deepest breath, and take the answers in your heart. When you wake up and the world is cruel and cold, my love follows you where you go. Future like a promise. You're a city of gold. Stubborn in your bones and Jesus in your soul. Seeing you stand there, staring at the unknown. I won't pretend that it's not killing me, watching you walk away slow. More freedom than a field of flowers in the wind. More beauty than a morning after rain. Up the steepest in the dark and crooked road, my love follows you where you go. Future like a promise. You're a city your heart's untrue when you say it's my fault anyway. Turn your head from the tears I've shed. Though your heart is untrue, who can blame you? You justify yourself in your love for someone else when you say I never loved you anyway. Your vows were made in vain, although my love still remains. Though you broke my heart in two, who can blame you? Who can blame you? Though your heart's untrue when you say it's my fault anyway. Turn your head from the tears I've shed. Though your heart is untrue, who can blame you? In a heart of rusty steel, you kept your love affair concealed till the day she was asking you to stay. You turned your head from the tears I've shed. Though you broke a heart in two, who can blame you? Who can blame you? Though your heart's untrue when you say it's my fault anyway. Turn your head from the tears I've shed. Though your heart is untrue, who can blame you? Who can blame you? Though your heart's untrue when you say it's my fault anyway. Turn your head from the tears I've shed. Though your heart is untrue, who can blame you? You turn your head from the tears I've shed. Though your heart is untrue, who can blame you?
Island, I see you in the distance. I feel that your existence is not unlike my own. Island, they say no man is like you. They say you stand alone. Sometimes I feel that way too. It's the need for love, heart and soul accompaniment seems to make me different from you. Well, I tried to book passage, but you had no ports. And I tried to sail in, but your wind waters turned my sails and broke my oars. Island, I see you in the moonlight, silhouettes of ships in the night, just to make me want that much more. Island, I see you in all of my dreams. Maybe someday I'll have the means to reach your distant shores. When the need for love, heart and soul accompaniment no longer makes me different from you. Well, I tried to build bridges, but they all fell down. And I've taken to the air on wings of silver, but I always hit the ground. broken my oars, island. I see you in the moonlight, silhouettes of ships in the night, just make me want that much more.
Alright, greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Agamemnon live game review. I'm Agamemnon the First. We're getting started. It's 18 minutes after 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Streaming live out of Tampa, Florida, on the east coast of the United States. Checking my audio levels here to make sure they're not too loud. Balancing out with the music. Today's recording is being recorded on the 27th of December 2018. It's Thursday, going on Friday.
Can you tell me plain and true, how high will you fly without me there to be a sky? Well, it don't matter now. Don't mean to leave you standing on your own. I think back on days and nights we had long ago. Maybe love is just a game you play. This much I do know.
Alright, on tap for today, Thursday, we have Star Trek Online, World of Warcraft, American Truck Simulator, Axis and Allies, War Thunder, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and to round it all out will be DC Universe Online. At some point this week, we're gonna put World of Tanks back on the schedule. We're just trying to find a good time slot for it. Thinking of putting it on the Friday, Saturday lineup. Because we play World of Warships on Sunday morning, or Sunday. The first game we play is World of Warships, so it might be more appropriate to play it on the Friday, Saturday lineup. Because then we do more PlayStation games. Alright, here we go. Let's bring up the acknowledgements page. Today's stream is being brought to you by the Elgato HD60S video capture card. System in place, or personal computer, is the Dell Inspiron 3558. Processor is the Intel dual-core i3 5015U processor, operating at 2.10 GHz. Installed RAM is 16 GB. System in place is the PlayStation 4 that's providing the console games. Our internet service provider is Verizon Quantum Files. Software stream is being provided by OBS Studios, along with stream labels and stream lab alerts. We added a Nightbot to our list, so I had to add that in. And then our operating system is Microsoft Windows 10. And with that out of the way, we had a lot of new people yesterday. I think picked up 3 new people. Welcome to our happy home. Double tap tap. Bring the music back up.
It's my claim to fame. I'm no fighter, but I'm fighting. This whole world seems uninviting, but I don't give up. No, I don't ever give up. Fall down sometimes, sometimes I come back flying. Liars are lying, airplanes are flying. Love isn't here, but it's somewhere. It's hard to forget me. Something won't let me. Love isn't here, but it's somewhere.
Alright, here we go. Let me bring up the desktop.
Not clean,
The webcam. Here we are.
not
Live.
washed up.
We went ahead and added Nightbot to the chat. And we're getting people in there talking. Had a couple people this week. Actually had 3 people host us in the last 2 weeks. That's kind of awesome. Had our first Christmas stream. Christmas Eve stream and our post Christmas Eve stream. So this will be the first one since then. Working our way to New Year's. Let this song play out, then we'll pause it. I'll try to do a better job today of limiting the sound volume so it doesn't competing with the microphone. Things you learn along the way. Alright, let's get started on the game. Today's Star Trek Online session was recorded earlier today. What time was it recorded? It was recorded, yeah, 27th December, 1:26 p.m. There was an update today, so I had to wait for it to update. And it was like a 4-hour upgrade, so I had to wait till noon to record it. And then a couple games upgraded today. I saw War Thunder had a patch. Star Trek Online did some maintenance. I'm not sure if Blizzard did maintenance today, but they usually do on Thursday. And, there was the only one that I noted that did it today. The other ones tend to trickle. But Thursday seems to be their popular day. But yesterday was Wednesday, so but it was going on Thursday when we did the patch. So let's get started. We're continuing on with the Ursula Eltok, our Klingon science officer. He's actually a Klingon alt. Our main Klingon alt is Kalagania. Although an English person would probably say Kalagania. It's Gania, it's hard consonant. It's Greek. Our session actually ended up being short. I expected it to be longer, but so we went on and played Or Romulan alt. She's coming up later. Here we are, getting started. We're continuing with burning bridges. I'm gonna try to make sure we're not competing with the game audio. Everything sounds good. I'm not really redlining. I adjusted the compressor and boosted the output level. It's a little bit, because I imagine the gain is prior to the compressor. Then, so the compressor limits the output volume. So I bumped it up by 3 dBs. We're going through Ursula's 2D roster here. See, in a short amount of time, she's amassed quite a bit of stuff in just 24 hours. The other captain we're playing, she's a newer captain, so she doesn't have a bunch of stuff. She's still leveling up. Let's see. One of the cool things, the difference between the Klingon and Romulan, this ship has a battle cloak on it, which was rare. Klingon cloaking device is usually a normal cloaking device, which means in battle you have to use it when the battle starts. The cloak goes away. You can't use it in battle, whereas Romulan warbirds come with the battle cloak as standard. Operating, they can cloak in battle. And some Klingon ships have it. Some of their newer ships have it. Rare on the Klingon side. It has to be a unique ship that has it. Adding Nightbot today, I've been playing around with it, how to actually do it. I hooked up the Auto DJ, which there's a playlist in there, but and now it's not running. Pause it. So they sent us here, and we're sneaking into the Mars base here. Just a big construction yard for Federation, Starfleet. We have to use our battle cloak to... You don't need a bat. You can use any cloaking device for it. If you don't have a cloaking device, then you have what's called a science officer skill, which is it's a noise signal suppression. Back in the day when the game first came out, only the Klingons could cloak, and one Federation ship could do it, which was Defiant, and then the Federation would reduce their signature, so it'd be harder to detect. Although you could visually see the ship, you have to get up close to see it if you were in PvP. You could go faster, but I go slower. One, because we're role players, but two, so that if you're moving too fast, you have these shuttles flying around. They're NPCs. It's a possibility they can detect you when you're moving. Anytime you're moving with your cloaking device, you run the risk of being detected. So you have to go slow. You have to kind of just sneak in there. Today's official, this session's official snack is Cheez-Its with grapes, water. For you captains out there in Star Trek Online, got to be within 7 kilometers to be within sensor range of the object that you're trying to scan, but you got to be outside of 10 kilometers of the ship so they can't scan you. Because the minute you scan, your cloak is going to drop, and then you're going to be scannable by these little shuttle NPCs or runabouts. So the trick on this is to park your ship on the other side of that satellite at an angle so that you don't get detected by these little runabouts. But you can at least do the job. This is the Star Trek Online sorry, Star Trek Online version of submarine warfare. That's the game I intend to get, is Cold Waters. I love that game. I don't have it, but I want it. It's on my list of games to get. But I have to figure out what time we're gonna play that. Surprise, we got a good response from Axis and Allies. When I say big response, I mean, for us at our level, we're only like, between 26 and 31 people. So, 2-3 people is a big response, but we did get a big response for Axis and Allies. A lot of people remember that game, and we've been playing that the last few days. I don't believe strategy games are dead. I think what hurts strategy games is that you can't correctly call the person. Used to be before the EverQuest and all these online games, big time. The way you played games online was you would call the person correctly. And you would hook up multiplayer session, and the person would run the session at their house. The game would have the tools built into it, and that's how you would run all those things. So, how you would do it. So, now most people don't set up peer-to-peer networks, and for security reasons. So, no one's figured out a way to do that. GameSpy used to do that, but they went out of business. A lot of reasons why I think a lot of those companies went out of business, that people didn't want to use it, is that they try to push products onto you and stuff, and I think they overdo it. I mean, people don't mind advertising, and it's okay, but there comes a point when you just cross a line. And tends to rub people the wrong way, especially when you're trying to play a game. Back before video games, the way it was done is you would go to a hobby shop, game store, and you would play the game there, and there would be all kinds of people there on the weekend, during the day. Hobby shop would be open all times of day, and like some of the ones I used to go to, they had a back room that they could close off when the store closed. The room would stay open, and then people would stay there overnight. You play like, so like if you're playing BattleTech, you know, you got all your stuff set up. If the store closed, you don't want to stop, so you could just play with the guy would give you a key. You play in their little battle room all night long. That was kind of cool. That's how they did it before the internet. But they would have like a message board at the hobby shop, and people would post their ad. Like you want to hook up with people playing like Dungeons and Dragons, Star Trek role-playing game. All kinds. People still do that kind of stuff, but not just post a thing online. Make an Outlook calendar. We have Outlook and notebooks, but we can't run it when we're running the stream because it bogs the processor down. Like Discord, we have a Discord site, but we can't run Discord when we're running the stream because it takes up too much processing power. But we run it as soon as when the stream ends, we fire up Discord. Then it doesn't matter. We're sneaking on in there. This was the tricky one. This one I had to get to the other side. This little runabout was still flying around below it, so I had to sneak up. And the thing with the runabouts is they're tiny, so they're hard to visually see. But if you keep them behind you, they show up at the bottom of the screen there. You get all their data information. Now, if you're flying straight at them, you won't get that data. You'll have to guess if anybody's around you. It's good as a captain if you're sneaking around places like that. If you kind of swing the ship around on its axis, what they call the transaxle orbit. I think that's what they call it. But make sure there's no one near you. You drop that cloak, if not, all those ships are gonna attack you. You'll fail the mission. It's about 19 minutes to get across this map.
is denying us an honorable death by disabling our ships and taking us prisoner. May their souls burn in Grethor for eternity. I know you normally wouldn't even hear such an idea, but under the circumstances, I recommend you leave the system before your ship is captured as well. This
Guy
is
went and got
no
captured.
way
What
for
an
a
idiot.
warrior to end their days.
Here we are, saving the day. The glory of the Empire, and this idiot goes and gets captured. I don't know how they got captured. Typical. You go, you execute perfect execution, and some idiot
I never
on another
expected
ship goes
you
and
would
gets
survive
captured.
a frontal attack on the Soul System. It is, however, unfortunate that your fellow warriors were captured. I will consider whether a rescue operation is feasible.
Now we're
Until
gonna have to
then,
go save those guys.
enjoy your victory. You have earned it with blood.
Yeah, being prisoner of the Federation isn't like a hard time.
Serve the Empire well.
Vacation.
Skapla.
Compared to living in the Empire, it's, yeah. Staying at the Marriott. Here we are. Sell off some of this loot. Salvage. I always try to salvage first. Although she could probably use that gear, it's better to salvage it. Build your own gear. The best way to go. Then you get exactly what you want. Takes you a long time to do it, but you get exactly what you want. Now currently I don't really have anyone other than Caligania who can build stuff at great quality. And on the Klingon side. On the Federation side, my character Clytemnestra. Nistra, she can. It's pretty well. Her R&D lab is awesome. No shortage of. She can make the proper tech at the quality she needs, and she can make the tech manuals. She has plenty of resources, and she has a vast, big fleet, and she can amass things quickly. There are about key 4 missions that you can do on a daily basis that will reward 50 dilithium each, so that's 200 dilithium. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but 200 a day, it adds up. Now, when you're playing alts, you're not gonna amass a lot of dilithium across one character, but what you do is you try to play 1 or 2 characters a day, so that all your characters are amassing. They're slowly growing, but across the board is cumulative, and they're all gaining dilithium, which feeds the one fund. Because you can always convert that back to energy credits. Yeah. Dilithium bank there. So we'll close out her day by setting up her duty officers, getting her people to work. And we'll be rotating on to Christo, Themis, Romulan. So I'm trying to rotate it where I'm playing my Fed, Klingon, and Romulan. I have more Federation people in Klingon, but I have more Federation Klingon than Romulan. I only have like 2 characters that are Romulan. 3 characters. One's a science officer, one's an engineer. I don't think I have any tactical people that are Romulan. Natasha. Which is Crystal Themis. I went down to see if I had any more, but I didn't have any more. I only had the Rom. She was at Ryza, that's why she's wearing the beach outfit. That's where she was last up. Her crew is new, so you find that little frigate there. She's modeled after Carla, I forget her last name. But she was in Watchmen. She played Sally Jupiter, and she was in the show they were trapped in a little like imaginary world. It comes on to Pembroke something. Pembroke Pine, something like that. Let me take a minute to fix her UI. Go ahead and switch to ground. It's only ground for a couple of minutes. But, let's see. Now 8 o'clock. Gonna continue on. I think this video is only another 31 minutes. Session has 45 minutes left, so we'll take a break after
Ah, good. The Republic has
video
need.
plays out.
House Mokai, a name thought lost to the past. No.
A little tiny Romulan warbird there. Little engineering ship there. Warbirds are unique. They don't use warp reactors. They use singularity cores. And they have special abilities from that technology. And they use plasma technology for their energy weapons and torpedoes, which is the basis of the singularity core. But when I play Star Trek Online, I try to keep each faction to their technology that is appropriate for that faction. I don't try to mix technologies. Although you can in this game, I don't do that. That's my thing. Try to keep Star Trek as pure as possible when I roleplay. Role-playing has changed a bit in this game. Used to be, it was quite active in the first couple of years, but over the years it's just kind of... Few people do it with dialogue, and now it's mainly action-based role-playing. Not really a whole lot of dialogue. Which can be fun. Get with a good group of people that are consistent. Hard thing is being consistent. Here's our Discord page. It's actually tied to my actual Discord page. We used to use what was it? not TeamSpeak, but I forget, I haven't used it in so long. Yeah, it'll come to me in a minute. But I switched to Discord a year ago, early this year.
Congratulations, Centurion.
Now, if you click out of these missions and don't get them, they are always in your logbook. So you don't have to like click it and oh, I've lost it forever. They stay in your logbook till you claim them. But I wasn't sure which one to claim, so I held off until I could look it up. You can actually keep a captain's log in this, which I do. Especially with a lot of characters where you're doing fleet stuff. I usually keep personal logs with that character. Especially supply logs I keep, so I know what I'm doing at the time, so if I spend months away from a certain character, I come back and quickly remember what I was doing with the character. Which can happen if you have a lot of ultimates. DC Universe alone I have, what, 58 ults now? I just made 3 this week. This game had, what, 26 alts, I believe. City Heroes I had 108 alts in that game. You could have 144. I was trying to have 144. I only got to 108 for game sunset. But, I love that game. I do play Guild Wars, the original one. I would play the other one, but I refused to play Guild Wars 2 because they cannibalized City of Heroes servers to make that game possible, and I didn't like that decision. Sounds petty, but that's my reason. This is in the logbook where you go to claim the people. If you click to choose it later, go down there where it says Hail New, the guy shows up. Now the first one is for duty officers, and the other one's a bridge officer, which you can sell them and make money. Is what I do. As a captain, don't be too quick to pick up people, because I want all my people to be I want all my bridge officers to be very rare quality, the purple quality. That's a green quality right there, which is common. Uncommon. Yeah, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, ultra rare. Very ultra rare. And epic. Epic is the yellow. So you gotta know the difference between what a bridge officer is and a duty officer. I said this in the last show, but Star Trek Online, the bridge officers are the people that are interface between you and the ship, you and the landing party. They're the people that go with you. And you gotta outfit them with weapons and abilities. You gotta train them. Duty officers are not real people in the game. They're just basically cardboard people.
The Republic has
and they help you run the ship,
talents.
run the space
Romulan
stations,
Star Empire still
run
has
all the
many
different
followers.
fleet facilities.
They've taken to pillaging outposts and settlements on the fringes of space, where nobody will challenge them. We need to deny them resources if we're to keep them from rebuilding their fleet and presenting a bigger threat to the Republic. Several allied forces are committing to joint operations against the Star Empire.
We gotta sign up for this minefield. We did it the other day with our Federation tactical officer. So this is the Romulan. It's in the early part. The Romulans have a different story arc, but some of the missions parallel. This is basically the tutorial showing you how to use the PvE called door missions. You basically click on the PvE thing and go do all these different
have discovered an Imperial
operations.
Operation to take over the mining facilities in this remote area of space. They're using these asteroid mines to collect materials for constructing more warbirds. We need to rescue the transport ships by breaking through the Romulan forces, destroying their minefields, and liberating the processing centers. The Romulans have cloaked mines next to the transports. Keep an eye out.
Ship is under attack. Engage weapons and
Now when you're doing these kind of missions, the other people could be at different levels than you. So, but the missions are designed that you can be at any level and you can play with other people.
Excellent work against those rigs. Just a few more to go.
So here we are. Now, this ship right now is a low-level ship, and so you can't go out there and start hammering because you gotta fight smart. Even within this system and limited amount of abilities, you have to know how to use certain abilities. 3 abilities that a starship should always have. You should have your tactical, basically your general skill. You should have your engineering and science team skills there. And one allows you to heal your shields, one allows you to heal your hull, and the other one allows you, to a minor extent, it keeps your shield healed, but it gives you offensive strike capability. Continuous. Now, people who aren't tactical officers have the little beta maneuver. You should have that because it relies on the maneuver of the ship. You should always have that. And the tactical people get the alpha version of that and a beta version of that, which are very useful. It helps you out dodge stuff. When you're doing these turns, makes it harder for them to hit you. Now, see, the ship is white. That's from the Singularity Core. If you look up top, those two abilities are from the Singularity Core. One provides a shockwave, the other one absorbs. Basically, as things hit the ship, they get absorbed or sent through a black hole. Somewhere. Just somewhere. What they do. Essentially what a singularity is a black hole. Mini black hole. Now with plasma weapons, the way they're designed to work, where you get the true benefit of them is you use your beam weapons to heat up the target, and then your torpedo, they do big alpha damage. Yeah. And now they're randomly firing the big plasma bolts. But, gotta keep turning circles. That's how Star Trek ships fight.
Facility Beta is...
That way you can distribute damage across your shields. That way one side's hit, recharging, the other side can be absorb damage. What shields do in this game is they mitigate kinetic damage, which is what torpedoes do. And so, by decreasing the enemy shield, they take more structural damage to the ship. Which is what you want. But what the plasma does is it heats up the ship, starts burning it, basically sets it on fire, which over time it overwhelms your shields. You can do a lot of damage. But it's not a big alpha strike weapon. It's just gradually over time it just overcomes the enemy. But you hit them with them big plasma bolts, they do a lot of damage. They're massive damage. They can end your day. But you combine them with the plasma beam weapons and cannon. I mean, I always outfit my ship with at least, when you're looking at your weapon loadout, each one of those slots isn't necessarily a firing arc. It's a slot for like the forward mount weapons and the rear. Gotta think of each one of those squares as a system. So we've got a beam array, plasma beam array in the front, and a plasma beam array in the back. So you got these beam arrays mounted all over the ship, so they can fire. And then you have the cannon, which is a 360-degree fire anyway. The turret's in the back there. And then you have the focus cannon, regular cannon, go forward. And then you have the torpedo. Plasma bolt, in this case. Utilizing our battle cloak. When you come out of a cloak like that, it gives you a 20 to 25% increased chance to hit in the first like 10 seconds that the cloak is dropping. Have a big alpha strike capability when you drop your cloak. Because it's like a surprise attack.
Facility Alpha is back online. Even though you've defeated their ships, liberated the asteroid factories, and repaired the disabled mining facilities, they don't seem to get the message. Sensors have detected the warbird Falcata leading a battle group to this system at high warp. The Falcata will probably try to blockade the orbital processing plants.
Basically, go kill those guys, is what he's saying. Long story short, go knock those guys out. Surprisingly, I like keeping my impulse button on my toolbar, because even though they got one provided for you, I prefer if you slot it. I usually put it in slot 3, but you can control the amount that it kicks up. Yeah, from the amount in the toolbar. And it's easy to activate. I just hit the three button. Impulse button. But what's cool about here, impulse in this works almost identically as it works in Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is pretty awesome. That's for when you're flying inside a planetary system, but you can't go to warp because warp's too big. But within a planetary system, it boosts you from one planet to the other. Basically. Then you have sublight normal speed, which is without impulse power. Which in our fleet we say like 1-4 power or quarter power, 2-4, 3-4, and 4-4 power, or first quarter, second quarter, or half and 3/4 impulse, and full space normal speed.
Good work.
We'll
This
collect
will
our
free up
R&D
some of our forces
and
and
salvage.
put a dent in the Imperial Navy's resources.
Since these characters are all doing episodes once a day, there's no reason that we have to do a lot of reputation stuff. They're gonna get the R&D and salvage very consistently, so and it's quite a bit of stuff. There's like 3-4 things to loot. It builds up over time. You can amass a pretty good fortune just by that amount. Both in R&D supplies and money. We're coming up at the end of this video. 8 minutes left. That's pretty much the end of this Themis day. I haven't really decided who I'm going to play tomorrow. I know it's going to be a Federation character. I think I'm going to play Astrolopithecus tomorrow. Afarensis. She's modeled after Tricia Helgar, who was in Battlestar Galactica. And she was in Lucifer, played Lucifer's mom. Getting her duties. You should always go through and scan, even if it looks like they're all like you fill them up. Always go through and check the individual ones so you get 20, because you can do 20 at a time. Always try to make sure you go through and check it. You might be able to do them. You have to scan through there. Get the most economize that in a way that you get the most dilithium out of it. Part of being a captain. in Admiral. Now this character is still scaling up, so I'm going to distribute some skill points. As you play some of the lower level characters, you're going to get to see how to use this skill table, which it's in its 3rd version. They've revamped it 3 times now. It's like the crafting. Crafting is actually in its 4th version. So I decided to park the ship over here at this nebula, so you can do exploration missions. If you go to those exploration zones, it used to be you could fly into the zone, but now they have it, you just drive up and click on basically the door. And if the ship is linked to that, it gives you all the exploration missions. Then you send your duty officers to go do them. Landing party. But later on, all the duty officer stuff is going to pay off, because that's how we're going to generate fleet marks. And the character becomes an admiral later on. He already has 70 fleet marks there. Yeah. Which, when you're lower than an admiral, you should wait till you become an admiral. Then you start accumulating fleet marks, lots. On a daily basis. You knock out a lot of projects, make a lot of money from that. The biggest resource in the game is dilithium, ore, and refined dilithium. And then next to that would be energy credits. I like to think of it in a role-playing sort of way. The whole purpose of the ship is to create energy. And from that you can function in the environment. And dilithium is the resource that everybody wants. It's what makes the economy in the game work. And then the marks are basically it's for a government, or a department within the Starfleet, for the police officers. Basically, it's basically the allotted funds that we're getting through Starfleet Command. That's how I think of the marks. Like in the real Navy, every month they send you what they call Optar report, and each department and division, all the way up to the ship, has a Optar log you have to maintain. It's your operating fund, and they're set. Set amount. You buy all your materials that you need. Operate. So these are your ground skills. Cause she's an engineer, she's gonna go the shield way, and then I'm gonna put some in the kits. On the landing party, the kit is really what makes all your ground abilities work. It used to be the kits were fixed. Now they made them so that they're modular and they can be customized. But when I laid out all my bridge officers, I made them so that they mimic the kits. So I had different bridge officers did different things. And now that they've added more skills, I've been slowly changing them out, and they can be changed on the fly. So it's important to constantly train your bridge officers in the game. We'll go over that more tomorrow, but we'll continue discussion on that as the days go on. Let's find some provisions just to get these exploration missions. Now, I won't buy them by the pallet with her. She doesn't have a lot of money. Only adds 157,000, but by the end of that month, that'll be over $1 million. Fuck, watch. If I played her every day, she'd have over 2 million. Easy. One thing I'm good at in this game is generating income. Amassing a fortune. Pretty easy. Right now I'm just trying to fill up 20 slots. I had to go through all these department heads, see if they had any assignments that needed. He's got work. Got another job right there. Another job right there at the top. Basically, a captain approves all duty assignments. Right there. She's still building up her crew too. You need about 70 people to run the ship. So anything over 70 is just extra people. So if anything, you need 70 people to be purple quality or higher. But purple's the minimum, and then you'll never fail anything. Pretty much won't fail anything. And that's the end of Chrysothemis' day. That's gonna do it for this segment of Star Trek Online. We're gonna move over to World of Warcraft next, but we're gonna take a break and come right back.
Oh, southern breeze, knock me to my knees. I believe you're the only one who can. The religious and the rest, they've all tried their best. Well, I guess some things you just don't understand. Oh Lord, when will the road run out? I'm on a roll, but I'm in doubt, and I don't know why. Still I second guess my pace. If I stand to lose from winning, to find the truth I'm willing to start back at the beginning of the good old days, the good old days. Oh, southern pines, reaching for the sky. I'm convinced that I can fly beneath your shade. Ooh, and it's all overdue, spending time just me and you. The pulpit and the pew where I was saved. Oh Lord, when will the road run out? I'm on a roll, but I'm in doubt, and I don't know why. Still I second guess my pace. I stand to lose from winning, to find the truth I'm willing to start back at the black limousine. Shiniest car I've ever seen. The backseat is nice and clean. She rides as quiet as a dream. Someone dug a hole 6 long feet in the ground. I said goodbye to you and I threw my roses down. Ain't nothing left at all in the end of being proud, with me riding in this car and you flying through them clouds. I've had some time to think about it and watch the sun sink like a stone. I've had some time to think about you on the long ride home. One day I took your tiny hand, put your finger in the wedding band. Daddy gave a piece of land, made ourselves the best of plans. 40 years go by with someone laying in your bed. 40 years of things you say you wish you'd never said. How hard would it have been to say some kinder words instead? I wonder as I stare up at the sky turning red. I've had some time to think about and watch the sun sink like a stone. I've had some time to think about you on a long ride home. Headlights searching down the driveway. The house is dark as it can be. I go inside and all is silent and seems as empty as the inside of me. I've had some time to think about it and watch the sun sink like a stone. I've had some time to think about you all along, all along, all along, all along, right home.
I don't know, but I've been told if you ain't busy living and you're getting old, that always seemed to make good sense to me. So I've been running my whole life, diving in, never thinking twice, chasing down what life had in store for me. Ain't nothing gonna stop this train from moving. Gonna grab hold and keep on singing la 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 la. Life goes on. La 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 la. Life goes on. I don't know, but it seems to me a chair in the sand and a summer breeze and a sunset, man, that's where I belong. So sit down right here next to me. We'll toast to love and living free and watch the tide rolling all night long. Sure as the sun and the moon keep shining, we'll be here and we'll be singing la 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 la. Life goes on. La 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 la. Life goes on.
sorry for Warlock that they went and revamped Warlock for Battle for Azeroth, which I, for one, enjoyed all the changes that they made for Warlock. Not that Warlock was unplayable. I like Warlock through all the changes that have happened since game launch, but this was a really good revamping of Warlock in a long time. I think for me, it felt really good. But it wasn't too, like, a lot of things didn't change too much, but there was enough change that it improved the quality of play of Warlock, especially with Demonology. Now I play Affliction and I play Destruction, but I've always liked Demonologist the most. But when you play Demonologist, you have to play like a tank. Tank with play. You're essentially you play like a tank in terms of crowd controlling, but you're really more there to manage your horde of demons, and you gotta heal them and keep them alive, and thus your connection with your demons keeps you alive, because the damage is distributed through you and your demons. So the more demons you can have out there, you improve your ability to stay alive. Myself, I always set my... When I'm in a dungeon with other people, I bring out the Void Walker. But if I need more DPS, I bring out the Felguard. But I have one on the tap there, which is a talent. But the 2 Felguard situation is pretty good. And you can keep one back for defense. So in case people attack you, he'll attack them. And then use the other one for offense.
These little ones have taken our scrolls and turned themselves into beasts. We have dispelling scrolls, but you will need to get close enough to use them. Watch out!
When I'm walking around the environment, because I have war mode on, I like the Succubus out, because when she's out, it gives you a 15% damage increase. So then, if you add the Tyrant guy, Commander, that adds another 15%. And then plus she's a crowd controller pet. There's a lot of her attacks do AoE damage. She doesn't do single target, a whole lot of single target damage, but she does spread damage, which I like. But you can see her up there on her melees over time just eclipses everything. And her Lash of Pain is the knockback with the whip. And then you can hold people. It's her big threat. One of the things you have to learn as a demonologist is how to do crowd control. And, I have a lot of anxiety when I do crowd controlling in dungeons and stuff. I'm kind of get nervous that maybe people don't want to do that, because if I see a big thing running at a person, my natural instinct is to just spam fear. Move all the targets so that they're not all shooting at the same guy, so it's decreasing the damage to the guy. To me, as a tactical person, I think that that's a good strategy, because you want to reduce the amount of firepower on your team, right? You don't want the other team to be able to mass firepower, and that's what the whole purpose of crowd control is. And, you want to dictate the battle to the enemy. This is how I see crowd control. I get nervous that some people don't like that, because the people tend to run around and they might be having to chase those guys down. But I kind of feel that, would you rather be chasing the guy down, or rather be all 15 of those guys smacking you in the head? You know? Why you're chasing them around? So the top bar there on the left is where I keep all my crowd control powers. Now when you use the Felguard, he's dealing with a stun. She has Seduce, which is technically a hold. Yeah. He also slows people down. And then when you have the Void Walker out, he has that, so if your health drops below 30%, you hit that button. Doesn't necessarily make you unkillable, but it makes you hard to kill. So you can heal real fast, and then all you do is hit drain life. Me as a demonologist, I like spamming life drain because I think it's an awesome power. But some people, like, if they're not, I don't know why people who aren't warlocks hate that power. They like frown upon you using it, but screw them guys. I'm gonna hit that. I got the power, I'm gonna use it. Yeah, I have the power to take life. I'm going to use it. I think they're just jealous they don't have that ability to heal themselves. And I think if you have a healer on your team and you have a DPS who can heal themselves, that's only better for your healers because they don't have to waste energy healing you. They can keep the tank alive, right? And that's why you're sort of a tank. You can heal yourself. And you're trying to keep your pets alive. If the more damage they're absorbing, the less you're absorbing. It's symbiotic. Especially as you're growing with Azerite power. Getting a lot better. Ability to absorb stuff. Greatly improved. And again, I don't understand why people don't like Azerite here. I think it's identical to what they have in DC Universe with augments. We call it augment system. DC does have artifact power. Artifact item, artifact power, but augments they're specifically slotted in 4 slots, and they improve your ability to be a healer or a DPS. And you can change it up. You can mix match them. So if you want to be more tankier, you want to be more of a crowd controller, you want to be more of a healer, you want to be more of tank, controller, healer, or damage. World of Warcraft, you gotta figure out what it is that you do. And Demonologist is really a crowd controller. Yeah. Who's DPS focused. Or a DPS who's crowd control focused. Really what you are. So I feel when you're gearing up your guy in as a demonologist, you're not really there to deliver big alpha damage. That's what a rogue does. That's what a mage does. Warlock doesn't do. You're there to, when they're attacking the big guy, all these things are gonna run at them. Your job is to manage that, so you're decreasing the amount of damage being done to your people. And it's really what your job is. Yes, your sole focus is add-on. That's why I like to be able to see my spread of damage over there on that bottom meter where it says my spell. Going off to do a dungeon here. I kind of like doing dungeons in that I don't have to do as much. When I'm in a 5-man, I don't have to do as much. See, when I'm walking around, I pretty much have to do everything, and there's a lot more management things you have to do with demonologists when you're alone.
The blood trolls are scattered, but we must find the source of the rot and destroy it. Guard yourselves. Who knows what lurks in these caves?
We're still using the party frames here. When the game provides. It took me about 2-3 weeks to figure out how to use grids. Just sit down and kind of play around with it, see what it does. Me, I kind of like figuring things out. Puzzles, I like to tinker around and play around with it. It took me a while to figure out how to use it. When I first loaded up Ice HUD, it was like daunting. Then I started playing around with it, and then I kind of really figured out how to use it. Now I'm pretty good with it. It took like 3-4 weeks to get. Kind of like OBS Studio, it took me about three weeks before I really kind of knew what I was doing with it. Now I'm a pro. I like the colors. So like if you do a melee attack, it has it yellow. The non-melees are blue. And on the spell chart, on the party breakout, it's their individual color identity. I don't know. The only way I know